There are some other things to consider. I think one of the things that really surprised us when working with this was that there's a limited time on for how long each of those GitLab jobs can run. And on our internal GitLab instance, or like for our internal GitLab runners, it's 6 hours. And so if you have any scraping job or like any job that takes longer, you need to split it up into multiple pieces. And if you cannot, or like some jobs are just hard to split up, then using this setup is probably not the right thing, and you should you should just host it somewhere else. You should just create it as a normal app, because yeah, it can be really problematic. And even for the jobs that exceeded the 6 hours and we were able to split them up, then you have to write some logic so that the scraper actually timeouts before the GitLab timeout. And then you can, via the API, just retrigger the whole pipeline, but and through environment variables, you can just give it the starting points to where it should continue. Also, running multiple different pipelines on GitLab is not ideal. So let's say you have multiple different, you want to certain scrapers, you just want to run them at different schedules. And while it's super easy to set up some scheduled runs on GitLab, when you have multiple different pipelines, there's no built-in support, but you can also enable it very easily through environment variables. So you can have one environment variable which is based on its value. It can have values pipeline A, pipeline B, pipeline C. And based on that, you can just decide which jobs could be run at a given time. Another thing, for example, when comparing to OpenShift is secret management. I think GitLab has pretty okay secret management for simple use cases. However, you cannot really do anything more complex with that. It's not as granular as what you can get with OpenShift. And I think as with any CI system, you need to realize that basically anyone who has the rights to execute pipelines on your repository has access to all the secrets. So I think that's something to be careful of, who gets rights to actually execute those pipelines and who not. Another cool thing about GitLab is that when you create a merge request, you actually, as you can see, there's this view app button. And so when you use the GitLab pages, for every merge request, it creates a new, basically, page sandbox. So you can view your changes as they will show up once the merge request is merged. And so that's something we've been also using very extensively. Yeah, so to sum things up, I think using GitLab pages is really great. But you need to make sure that your jobs are not too long for your internal timeouts. Also, like working with database can be in the way that we did can be sometimes clumsy. But if your use case is relatively simple, it's okay. And yeah, and also like while the, let's say, maintenance cost is very low, we still have a team that is maintaining our internal GitLab instance. So it's not like it will be completely for free. It's like we have a team that does that. But for example, for your hobby project, let's say you want to do something on your own time, I think spinning up a GitLab Pages instance can be very easy. You know, you don't have to set up an OpenShift cluster, or you don't have to set up any other service because you usually have GitLab or GitHub account already. So thank you, and if you have any questions, it's the right time to ask them. Yeah.
One question. You mentioned that you shared the SQLite database.
Yeah.
Was there a specific limitation that forced you to do that? Because at first glance, it seems that you should be able to create partial data sets from each job and then have a single merge step.
Yeah.
So why use cache in every job?
Yeah, I think that's something we definitely considered. And it was just we didn't want it to spend time doing the merge. Like we could do it, but at the same time, we don't care as much how long the scraping jobs run. So it seemed like it would just make everything less complicated, and having like partial databases and then merging them. It was like we just have one that we just share through cache. Of of course, you can say we could spin up a database server somewhere else, but that would go around, like, against our philosophy of like having everything within GitLab and like not hosting anything. And yeah, I think these were the main points. Yeah, I think it was simpler for us at the time, but that's definitely like approach we considered doing. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, so I suppose that's it. Should I end it? Or?
If there are no questions, thank you for talking.
Okay.